What's going on, guys? This is the Loyal BBN fan coming back to you guys, with the weekly updates of what's going on with the UK Wildcats. So I'm kind of furious right now only because of UK is getting, no respect whatsoever. These guys are playing the best ball pretty much of anybody in the nation, and we still seem to be always left out of the loop of what's going on around college basketball. It seems like the NCAA has it out for Kentucky. We get no respect at all. We're going into people's places. We're winning. Now the excuse is, well, the SEC is not as good as we thought it was. So we're going to take some of UK's wins and downplay them and make it seem like that, hey, ain't nothing going on, that these wins were just like they should have won them games. It's nothing big. But when you go on the road and you winning these ball games and you playing in hostile environments, that has to matter for something. And I would never understand why, if the NCAA, if they don't like Calipari, fine, but don't punish the kids for their hard work, for what they've been doing and for the work that they've been putting out. Our guys have only been trending since day one. They had a bad loss back in early November. I get it. I get that that's a bad loss. I get that bad loss is going to come back to haunt us. But look, we have did so much since then, and our track record speaks for itself. I mean, we can play with the best of the best. No one can truly say that, hey, if you put Gonzaga, if you put Baylor, or if you put Kansas up, that those teams are just going to just come and just blow us out and just beat us. I don't think that's the case. So they're not really giving us a lot of respect. They're not giving us a lot of love. But, hey, that's something that is normal for Kentucky. That's just something that we got to get used to. That's something that we got to just like, okay, you guys don't believe that we are who we are? Well, we'll show you. And that's kind of what they're doing right now. They're just showing the nation. They're going about their business quietly, and they're just showing people what they can do as a ball club. I mean, we're balling, man. We're balling. We're clicking. We got 4 guys who can, consistently play on a high level with the addition of E.J. Montgomery. He's coming on now. He's coming into his own. He's playing. He's being the guy who we thought he would be coming back for his sophomore year. So that says a lot about where we're going. And once we get him on board to playing consistent like he has been, like the last 2 or 3 games, no one's untouchable, and we're not untouchable. But I tell you what, we're playing on cylinders where no one wants to look over in that bracket and says, I got to go play UK today. No one really, really wants that because of how we're really playing. And that makes a big difference. And I guess we can always say as Kentucky, I can show you better than I can tell you. And as long as we could continue to play the way that we are, I think the sky is, not even the limit. I think we can go higher than that. So I'm just kind of upset because we're not getting the respect that we deserve. They keep flip-flopping us of where we can be at. I mean, I can't believe that you got some of these teams who are ahead of Kentucky. Like you got Kentucky as a number 3 and the last number 3. Come on, you got some of these teams higher than – these teams ain't going to beat Kentucky. These teams ain't going to beat Kentucky. So it's just a blatant disrespect that they give Kentucky year in and year out. And I guess as a Kentucky fan, you can't expect anything different because that's definitely not what we're getting this year. So I just really hope that things turn around. I hope that the NCAA can say, hey, we think we're giving UK a bad rap. But once again, we know what UK is going to get. And UK is going to get nothing but disrespect all across the board. So that's my intake, or that's my opinion on what I think about the NCAA right now. They just, and it's the March Committee. It's kind of like looking at these machines, and they're relying on basically a robot to tell them that Kentucky ain't no good, that Kentucky is behind these teams, and you got all these teams that completely in front of Kentucky based off of, well, we lost to Evansville. And, yes, that's a bad loss. Anybody that knows basketball knows that that's a bad loss. But that's not the end of the world. So that's something that we definitely got to work on, that we got to build on and move past and continue to grow. And we will. So just watch out, March, because the Wildcats are coming. Next, we want to talk about the big win that we went down to Texas A&M. And it's funny because Texas A&M, they had these nice, cool, supposedly shirts out, and they wanted to get, they basically told Kentucky to get out of here. And it's funny when they filled the arena. Of course, it wasn't even filled because who wants to go see Texas A&M play? I think we probably had more Kentucky fans there than we did Texas A&M. But it's funny that they made these shirts. What do you do with those shirts after you get beat? Do you just hold on to them for 7 years? Hey, I got a shirt made that Kentucky was coming to town. Well, you got your butt whooped, And, we was a better team all the way through. And, even though we only won even though we only won 69-60, we still should have won more than that. But it is what it is because we was able to get out of there. And anytime that you can go on the road in the SEC and get a win, then you got to look at that as a major positive. And that's the way that we have to go about looking at it right there. We got to say, we're trending. We're going up. We're going in the right direction. And, one thing about that ball game is you got to look at what Emmanuel Quigley's doing. And, the whole thing, I'm down with IQ, is right on point. Because how can you not be down for Emmanuel Quigley? The kid has just you got to think about it. If you look at from his freshman year to his sophomore year, he was only averaging just over 5 points a ball game last year. Now this kid is just a whole totally different ball game. He's in the running. His name is being thrown out there for SEC Player of the Year, coming off the bench from the year before and only scoring 5 points, and now he's SEC Player of the Year. That's amazing. At first, you had the guy from Mississippi State, Perry, who was, I guess people said was a front runner or whatever you want to call it, but you had him. But now you got IQ that went down there. He just played lights out. He made 8 3-pointers that game. He definitely he's in a class of only a few select people who have allowed to say themselves, like the Tony Delks, those kind of players from Kentucky that he's in that same class now. We've seen Winion go off a couple of years ago in the SEC tournament. And that's kind of what Quigley did against Texas A&M. He just kind of like saying, we're not losing this game. We're going to go up. I'm pretty much the rim is an ocean for me tonight. And when he shot it, you just believed in your heart that things was about to change. Things that the ball was going to go in. And because of the way that they played, we had our blocks. We had, we just had a lot of things going on. We still got to get, even Nate Sestina came in for a little bit and gave us some. Didn't really get a whole lot out of Juzang. Didn't really get a whole lot out of Brooks. So those are the 3 guys that that we really need to, because those are our guys. Those are our people coming off the bench to give our guys a rest. So when they come in, we got to expect that we don't fall off when these guys come in the ball game. We need these guys to play ball. We need these guys to give us 4 or 5 minute spurts to allow the guys to come on the bench and actually get a rest. And we be okay with that. But I believe as it continues, the year is almost over. We only got a couple more games left. And I really believe that as we continue to close out the season, these guys are going to continue to give us more and more. In the next segment, we'll be talking about the game against Auburn at home. So, it's just one of them things where, we got to tweak. We still got to work on Ashton Hagen and his turnovers. He still got to work on it. Now, he didn't do as bad. He didn't do as bad as he's been doing. But still, some of the turnovers, it's just some things that it's a matter of tweaking. It's a matter of slowing down. It's a matter of being conscious that, hey, I'm the floor general of the Kentucky Wildcats. They need me on the floor. If I don't do them any good, any justice, if I'm on the floor and I'm still getting a lot of turnovers, something's different got to be done there. So if he can continue to fix it, and I know we talk about that week in and week out because it's an issue, and I know that Cal has mentioned before, Ashton's going to be fine. Yeah, we think Ashton's going to be fine, but we still need him to still slow down and and be the floor general that Cal has entrusted him to be. And when he can do that, nothing but positive things can do because he can score. Maxey can score. Quigley can score. And, Richards can score. What we need, and EJ is he's kind of a wild card because we don't necessarily need EJ to score per se, but EJ with his, energy, he can jump, he can go get those rebounds. That's the kind of things that where if you're not scoring, then we want you to do those other things. And that's a sign of a good player. A good player won't just, I'm not scoring a lot. My shooting is off, so I'm not going to do anything else, worth talking about. But he is. He's continuing to keep up this process. He's continuing to move forward in what it is he's doing, and that's getting the rebounds, falling on the floors, getting them put back dunks. I mean, those are the kind of things that are huge. And, every team, while all players need to be with that same energy, it's always good to have that one guy that, that you will always be able to say, this guy's going to get on the floor. This guy's going to go up and get those misses. And he's so athletic. He runs the floor very good. And not many teams can say that they have two bigs in the country like Richards and like Montgomery, who runs the floor so well, who trails. I mean, if you look up Richards, he has such long strides that when the guard gets down the floor, Richards is already there. The guards are now not outrunning Nick Richards, to get down the floor. And that allows us to push the ball. When we start getting in start wanting to walk the ball up the court, when we start wanting to, take it to the half-court game, I don't think that's who we are. We're a team that needs to get out, push it, throw it up, lob, get on back down the court on defense because a lot of times we can't get our shots. So if we can't get our shots, then that means the other team has a chance to do that. Now, if I'm correct, they didn't have any transition points against us, which is very odd. I mean, they showed that we was like 14-0 on transition points. And by the end of the game, they didn't get not one single transition point on. You want to know why? Because we was making baskets and we had a chance to get back. Quigley was making those shots. Those guys had to take the ball out, which gives us that opportunity to get back on defense and set up and be ready. So that's the kind of stuff that wins championships. That's the kind of stuff that gets you to the Final Four. That's the kind of stuff that continues to push towards winning the SEC titles and winning SEC tournament championships. That's what it takes to be good. Okay, you want to be good or you want to be great. And right now we're moving to the level of where it is that we really, truly, truly want to be great. We don't want to just be had. We want to do things right, the right way. And I think that's really where we're trending at this time of the year. So go Cats, go Quigley. E.J. Montgomery, continue to pick it up. Ashton Hagen, slow down on your turnovers. And, let's just continue, just play ball. Another thing, I think Nick Richards only made one basket that ball game. That wasn't his night. But I don't think that Nick Richards is only going to have a game anymore this year where he only scores one basket. He's just not going to do it because he's hungry now. And he got that taste of, hey, I got to do better than that. Because my teammates, they need me more than ever. So once he can do that, then I think it's going to be just that much better for him in the long run. We just got to keep playing ball. We got to get ready. Things are moving fast. March is just, March is what's on everybody's lips. Everybody's talking about it. And the more we do now, the better off it's going to be down the road for us. So let's just keep pushing. We got people like Duke who lost again. Who lost again? Duke lost again to Wake Forest, And you just got to say to yourself, how much more love does teams like Duke continue to get more than us? I mean, it's crazy. So, it's one of them things but as I always say, we got to take care of what goes on with us. We cannot worry about what goes on with other teams. We can only control what we do out on the floor. We don't want to leave our destiny in the hands of the NCAA going against, putting all the pressure on us and giving us no respect and relying on somebody else to have a bad game or a bad year. We got to take care of what's ours and let everything else take care of its case. So I'm the Lord BBN fan. Go take a break, and we'll be right back after this. Well, welcome back, guys. This is the Loyal BBN fan coming back for the second half of my show, and we got a great part that I kind of wondered how I wanted to do this going into the second part of my show because I wanted to save the best for last, and my best for the last is that the Kentucky Wildcats is the SEC regular season champions by knocking off the Auburn Tigers. It was, let me tell you right now, first of all, good hats off to Auburn. Those guys, they fought. They would not go away. As much as we tried our best to put those guys away, those guys continue to battle, play hard, and they just, they wouldn't go away. But that's also the same thing that I can say about my Kentucky Wildcats. My Kentucky Wildcats, they played hard too. They played great. There were situations where Auburn got within 3 points several times. I think, if I'm correct, they even got within 2 points certain times. But we was resilient enough. We was determined enough. Our dedication to playing defense. Now, I bring up defense because I'm going to say this. We went through a 7 minute plus span of where our offense was non-existent. Non-existent. We couldn't make a layup. We couldn't make a jump shot. We had a few turnovers in that process during that time frame. And, there was a time where you was like, okay, we can't score a basket. But on the other flip side to that is, one thing to notice is our defense just stepped up. They always say one thing about a person who loses, like they can't hear or, they're losing one of their senses. But on the other end, there's other things that seem to be amplified. There's more things. The other things seem to work a lot better than normally they would work. So that's kind of how the Kentucky Wildcats was today. Our offense today for 7+ minutes was just not there. But our defense, we stepped up the defense because we didn't even realize it until the announcers announced it. But, Auburn was 1 for 6, 1 for 7 themselves. So it ain't like we was going down and saying, okay, we're going to not make a layup. We're not going to make a jumper. We're going to get a turnover. And then we're going to let those guys just go back down and just score any way they want to. That wasn't the case. Our defense stepped up. I got to give a hats off to Nate Sestina. The guy came in. He gave us some minutes because Nick Richards was in foul trouble. But he came in, held it down as much as he could. He was able to get the game with at least 11 points that game, 11, 12 points that ball game. So, when you can get that kind of production out of Nate Sestina, then that's a winning recipe. Also, I have to add Keon Brooks. Keon Brooks came off the bench tonight. He gave us some good minutes. I'm still waiting for him to get that 21 minute game. Of course, the downside of it is if he's in the game that much, then somebody else is not playing good, whether that's Nick Richards or whether that's E.J. Montgomery. So, with those kind of things going on, you just got to say to yourself, you just got to be happy of the production that we got out of everybody, with the exceptions of Juzang. Juzang, he today, and I'm a big supporter of Juzang. I always like to root for the little guys, the guys who maybe sometimes get overlooked or whatever. So I'm always rooting for him. It's not that I'm never rooting for him, but today is just one of those days where I didn't see where he was a benefit more so as he was a liability in some situations. For instance, down the game, Quigley was tired, and Quigley has to come out of the game. So we got to bring Juzang in. We got to bring him in. We're not going to bring Brooks or Sestina in for Quigley taking a break. But Quigley only got maybe a 30-second rest. And that won't cut it. When Juzang comes in the game, we need him. No turnovers. Take your time. It just kind of looked like he was out of place today. It looked like he was nervous. I'm not sure if he truly understood what the magnitude, the size of the game, and that got to him a little bit. But, we're going to need him in order to move forward and continue to push our way through March and hopefully get that championship number 9. But, Maxey, he got to the rim. He did what he wanted to do. Quigley didn't have the best shooting game of the last couple of weeks, but Quigley still came up big with some big shots because we was hitting free throws. And we made free throws and they didn't. Another thing to note about this ball game is the last time we played Auburn, they shot a lot more free throws than we did. So while we shot more than they did, it wasn't like, oh man, Kentucky got those guys were cheering for Kentucky. That wasn't the case. We drove, we got the foul call. It was some foul call on us, that was against us, particularly against Nick Richards. Why? Why did the refs call those type of foul calls? But, overall, I think it was a nice, hard, gritty, grind-out win. We wanted it more than those guys did. We understand the implications of what was on the line here. We wanted to bring the 49th SEC regular season championship back to Kentucky, where it belonged. So that was good to actually do that. A lot of people, I post questions online or whatever, and one of the things that people wanted to see better or thought that we would need this better in order for us to be able to beat Auburn today is one of the things was Ashton Hagans and his turnover. Well, today he wasn't turnover prone. And I think at the first half, collectively as a team, we had one turnover. I mean, we're talking about most games we average about 8 or 9 turnovers in the first half. And half of those are with Hagans. So just to be able to, I harped on one thing. There is no way that we're going to beat Auburn if they have more possessions than they have. So tonight, not only did we just cut down on the turnovers, we cut down on the offensive rebounds, we cut down on defensive rebounds, and we crashed the board tonight. We played tonight like, hey, I want to win this ball game. I want this rebound. So those are the kind of things that you can't really put a price tag on. Those things are priceless, and those are the recipes that people use in order to win championships. So this is something, this is a huge win for us. And at first, Auburn was playing amazing ball. LSU was playing great ball, and it just didn't look like Kentucky was going to make the opportunity to even have a chance to win the SEC regular season championship. But it's amazing how things change. We purposely fought every game up to now to win the ball game. We have willed ourselves to win the ball game. And these are the type of games that you see in March. These are the type of games where a team get up and then another team come right back. But it's those who are able to truly say, we're going to do whatever it takes to get this ball game won. And that was an example of what they was able to do tonight. I mean, Coach got them ready. You can see Coach getting in their ear, talking to them. As I say quite a bit to say what Cal says. This is a player-driven team. The players on the floor, they understand that while Cal is the coach and Cal's a great coach, Cal can't be on the floor with them. So they got to take some self-responsibilities for what it is they're doing out there, and they have to feed on that. They have to feed on each other, and then they got to make it the best they can. They got to put together a product that we want to see. And the only thing that I would change about tonight's game is I really wish the crowd had spurts of times, but I don't like that. We hold, I think it's 17,000 plus fans in there, and I'm just trying to figure out where's our crowd at for 40 minutes. I mean, come on, guys. We're playing for the SEC championship regular season. Come on, man. Where's the crowd at? Our crowd should be so much better than what they are. But they're not. They're not that good. And we got to get better. And that's been a complaint for many years now throughout the Big Blue Nation. Stop sitting on your hands and go out there and support your team. Our guys shouldn't have to try to motivate you with throwing their hands up, trying to get the crowd into it. I mean, they got to realize something. it's so many people who wish they had the opportunity, the privilege, the money, the means to go to a game at Rupp Arena. And those who go on a regular basis, that's great, but I don't think they really, truly understand just how special it is to go inside Rupp Arena and watch a ball game, especially at a caliber game like this. You know, at a caliber game like this, with so much on the line, with so much seating and everything else. Speaking of seating, we're not getting no respect at all. And we had today Baylor lost and Florida State lost. Florida State should be behind us now. We should move up because I think Florida State is number 7, number 6 and number 7, number 6. So we should move up to at least number 7 for next week's poll. And if Duke loses, then we should go up to like number 5 in the nation. I don't know what else. I don't know what else the committee. I don't know what else the AP polls need. I don't know what else the coaches poll need from us to prove is that we are a true squad and we got what it takes to win ball games. But I'm really excited to kind of see where this goes at from here. We got Tennessee coming in next week, and then we got to end the season off at Florida. So, at this point, I ask myself, do we continue to play hard despite we've already won the SEC regular season, or do we kind of take it easy and save our legs for March? Because with this being such a shaky year for so many teams, it's anybody's year. Kansas looked good. But they almost, of course, they won by like 8 points or whatever it was over Kansas State. But they should have probably lost that game too. So at this particular time, it's anybody's year. And for the nation to single out Kentucky because of a horrible loss that they took at the beginning of November, and now we're almost in March, and you're still going to hold that over my head with the magnitude that you are, it just says, hey, you really don't really like us. Because Duke keeps losing. Duke lost 2 in a row, and they still in front of us. So what else do we have to do as a fan base to say, hey, come on, we can do this. We can do this. You just got to, we just got to put the nation, we got to continue to, each week, every game, continue to put the nation on notice that we got this. That the Kentucky Wildcats are a true, real pretender to win the championship this year. And people should not take us lightly just because we lost to Evansville in November. Don't do that, Just because we lost to Utah. Don't do that. We lost to Ohio State, and they was like number 2 team in the nation almost. So they was a great ball club. So don't count us out, Don't count us out just because of that. We're coming. The Kentucky Wildcats is not finished yet. They got some unfinished business to take care of for the rest of the year. And I am very, very excited to actually do this, to actually watch our Wildcats and see what it is that they are about to do for the rest of the year. Go Cats, go Cats. Our Cats are balling right now. They're playing together. They love each other. They love the success that their teammates are having. And, Auburn came in and they knew they was going to beat us, They going to come in. They came out firing 3-pointers. They was hitting. And you could just tell, hey, we're going to beat Kentucky today. They had us up by 7, 8 points. But Kentucky didn't quit. We didn't quit. We did not quit fighting. And that's why Kentucky was able to come out of there with a solid win against the Auburn Tigers at Rupp Arena today. So, hey, great ball game. Great way to, great memories for winning an SEC championship, regular season. It's all good. We're going to keep rolling. Enjoy this one. And tomorrow, let's get back to work because we got a feisty Tennessee team who just knocked off Florida today. And we got to get ready to play those guys because those guys are going to be good. So I'm the loyal BBN fan. You can listen to my podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Have a good one. Go Cats.